Hello everyone. I just thought I would go over what we're going to do in math this week. So yesterday, mainly I just wanted you to go over those basic things of just figuring out how you do convert measurements and all kinds of them. So you got that chart, and that chart will be really helpful to provide all those possibilities. So make sure you utilize that. And what we're going to do is sort of a little project here, and it's a grocery shopping project. You're going to plan a dinner party. And I thought it would be just fun to do this instead of just doing a bunch of math. We are still doing a bunch of math, but in applying it in something we could do in daily life. So, here's what you're going to do. You're in charge of grocery shopping for tonight's dinner party. You have all the recipes for the dishes that will be served. All you need to do is look at the recipes and be sure you get all the ingredients. So you're going to get 3 different word problems for this first page, and it's all time related. So if you look at my instructions, I included a little chart on there, or at least I wrote out time and from seconds all the way to months. For example, let's look at this one. It says, you were told that you only had 2 hours and 13 minutes to complete the grocery shopping so that the cooks would have enough time to prepare the meal. If you need to go to 7 different departments within the store, how many minutes can you spend in each department? Okay, so because you started off with 2 hours and 13 minutes, but they want to know how many minutes you spend in each department, and if there's 7 of them, you need to figure out how much time that will be. But the first thing you have to do, because you have to use the same kind of measurements with the same kind of measurements. So before you figure out this part of the problem, you need to figure out, well, 2 hours and 13 minutes equal how many total minutes. So you got to break down the 2 hours to figure out how many minutes will 2 hours be. Add the 13 minutes, and then you can do the rest of the problem that way. So it's important to know time conversions as well, which we didn't talk about yesterday, but that's okay. This is, I think, stuff that hopefully you already have memorized, but if not, again, refer to where I put it in the instructions. So you'll answer those questions. And the really cool thing here is you can type on a Google slide. And you have 2 pages that you're going to complete, and that's going to be the case for Wednesday and Thursday. So it will be different elements to planning a dinner party. And so all you have to do is make sure you click on the T, which is the text box. And then sometimes you have to, and then you can just delete that and then type your answer. So you would say however many minutes. Make sure you label. We have word problems here. So anyway, each problem that you will have, we'll say type your answer here. Makes it really obvious. So like I said, find that text box, and then that way you can actually type in there. Let's look at the second page. This is titled Going Shopping. It's almost time to head to the store. The directions to get to the store are a little confusing, and you have to take a taxi to get there. Fill in the tables below to help you plan out your trip to the store. So we've got a little table here. So the trip to the store, travel the following distances on each road. So we've got different roads here. And so each street will have at least one number. So one category, I mean. So we have for Somerset Street, it's 1,848 feet. How many yards is that, and how many miles? So again, refer to the measurement chart that I have provided for you, that I gave you yesterday. I've also included in today's assignment. Please refer to that. And then you can apply your answers there. And again, you can click, just delete, and then put your answer in. However, I am going to leave these here for you. So just make sure you answer where all of those are there. The reason I keep the words in is just so that way it's easy for you to just type it in. If it's blank, it gets confusing because then you have to create a text box. So you'll put your answers there, so make sure you do that. And then you have a word problem. And so you'll put your answer in there. And then trip from the store travels the following distances on each road. And so here are the roads. We have centimeters, meters, and kilometers as our categories. So again, each road will have the numbers there for you, which they're all in decimal form. And, well, not all of them, but some will be. And so that's why I had you do some decimal practice yesterday, so hopefully that makes sense. So you will apply that. Again, that is all on there on the measurement chart. So if you look to the right, that's the metric system, and it breaks it down that way. So make sure you use that as a guide. And oh, and then just if you prefer to not use the Google Doc, you could, of course, print it out and write in your answers and then upload it and take a picture. Please, please make sure you show us your work. Do not turn something in and leave it and just say turned in and we don't know what you did. So make sure that you show your work, or at least make a note that you did it on a separate piece of paper, because we are seeing that a lot of you are just marking turned in and you're not actually doing your work. Or maybe you did, but we didn't see it. And we want to provide you the feedback so you know how you're doing, because this is an important skill to have. So anyway, I think this will be fun. Make sure you comment. What main dish would you make for a dinner party? So let's start thinking about it just for fun. So make sure you comment on the assignment as well, and use the chart, do the assignment, and have fun with it. And then the next couple of days, we'll do some more things with this project. And again, I think it's important because this is what we use in everyday life. We are, these are skills that we use. So I'm hoping that you can apply it and have some fun with conversions and measurements, because I know sometimes we get a little overwhelmed and it can be a little challenging for some people, and for some people it might be easy. But I know for me, it was a little hard. So when I can think about doing something like this, it makes sense to me because it's something I can use in everyday life. And I can think about feet and yards and miles, and I know that feet is smaller than yards and yards is smaller than miles, or you could think of it another way. And so when you think about the measurements and how just knowing that in your daily life, it just makes a lot more sense to thinking about that. Like, oh, okay, so for that I would need to multiply to make, or to divide, depending on what you're going to do with that. Because obviously feet is a smaller measurement, so feet, the answer is going to be, the number will be bigger. Yards, it will be smaller because the yards measurement is bigger than the feet measurement, right? So the yard number would be smaller. The miles number would also be even smaller than yards, right? Because the miles measurement is bigger, right? If I ran 1 yard compared to 1 mile, you could think about that, right? Think of those yardsticks, or a meter stick, depending on what you call them. But a yardstick, it's not very far you have to run, but 1 mile, that's put in some distance. And so to keep that in mind, if it's a longer measurement, then the number is going to be smaller, because this many feet is going to be whatever you get for the yards and whatever you get for the miles. Okay, so keep that in mind. Make sure you know what the equivalencies are, and then that way you can multiply or divide and figure that out. Same thing with centimeters, meters, and kilometers. It's just kind of like what I just described above. Centimeters measurement is going to be the smallest one. Meters would be the next smallest, and then the kilometers would be the largest in these 3 categories right now that we're looking at. So again, centimeters, the number is going to be bigger than 18 3/10 meters, right? And then kilometers, the number is going to be smaller than this because this is a bigger measurement. It's not going to take as many kilometers to get to this number, right? So that will help you too to know that if you're on the right track. So for example, if this number ends up being smaller than this number, then maybe something didn't happen right. Or like this one, if this is going to be a bigger number than the meters, then you did something wrong. So just keep that in mind. Use your common sense, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So those are the 2 pages you will do. Have fun, and we will talk again soon.